Welcome back. You're now on the lifestyle segment of the weekend show. I'm Tenda Chemelu.
And I'm Aisha V. Good morning.
Good morning. Inheritance is a topic that can bring out the best and worst in people. When a loved one passes away, the distribution of their assets can be a complex and emotional process. Wills, trusts, and next of kin laws can be confusing, and disputes can arise when family members or beneficiaries have differing opinions. But what happens when there is no will, or when the will is contested? Who gets what, and how is that decided? Popular billionaire businessman Obinna Iyegbu, well known as Obi Kubana, has been all over the news lately as he just celebrated his 50th golden birthday in grand style. But what's more, the friendly social media misfires between two of his sons over the title Next of Kin. Joining us on the lifestyle segment to discuss these issues, we have
Barrister Monday, Geoffrey. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you
Welcome
for
to
having me
the
this
weekend
morning.
show.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so you've been in the field of law. You understand the dynamics around this next of kin that we've been hearing so much this week. And people just want to know, and we want to know especially, what does next of kin really mean? We know it means inheritance of all properties. Is that what it really is? Or is it that you are given divisions? Or how does it really work, this next of kin?
And why do they fight about it so much?
Thank you very much. You see, the term next of kin, as it states, is more or less like a lifeline for an individual. When I say lifeline, this is what I mean. There are times, when you fill some certain forms, you see a column, next of kin. Now, the main intention of the draftman is someone to call when there's a medical emergency, someone to call when you're incapacitated, you can't do some certain transaction, someone to hold in trust for you at that particular point in time. And when a man leaves intestate means without a will, majority of the first thing that comes into play is the next of kin. Now, the reason for that, it is majorly used by banks.
Yes, when it comes to money.
Yes, to money. Now, the reason why you always see it in your form while trying to open an account is this. First and foremost, when this man is no more, the cash should not be lying low in the bank. There must be somebody that will be a point of contact. Next of kin does not mean someone who is in position to inherit
Everything.
one's asset. You could be my next of kin to a particular estate. Let's say I have 4 property in Aja. I also have in Abuja. I could decide to spread them across my family
So basically, you
members.
can have more than one next of kin.
You can have more than one.
That is it.
If I have a first bank account,
I hope they're hearing that.
if I have a first bank account, Joy could be my next of kin to my
For
first
that
bank account.
Yeah.
Access Bank, Esther could be. Zenith Bank, Ivie could be. Anybody can be your next of. It does not necessarily mean blood relative or someone tied to you statutorily or otherwise. I could decide to use, and let me make this point clear. A next of kin does not only take what is left. There's also what we call liability.
Okay, you
So
inherit
the
like
debts
debts,
as well.
debts,
issues, problems.
you are the one to
But
negotiate. how
Nigerians
it
like
goes.
to focus only on the
On-
money and the assets.
Yeah, that's that one.
Interesting. So you mentioned will and statements of will and what happens when a person dies without leaving a will. So, but how does a person ensure that their will is respected after they are gone. Because there are cases where someone leaves a will and the family members still come to contest. Or some unknown child they had outside from somewhere shows up and like, I
Shows up
have
with proof
yes,
that they are
that
part of
this
the
is my
family.
father, this is my mother, and I have rights to their properties. So how does someone ensure that even after leaving a will, it is not tampered with and that it is respected to the latter?
Thank you very much. Now, in answering this question, I'll come from the major challenge we have conflicting with a will, which is the customary aspect, one's tradition, where you belong to your religion, and all of them. Now, in Islamic law, there are various ways a man's inheritance is being shared. Now, it's either it is shared among the children or it is shared among the wives. Now, when the man has 3 children and he has 21 lands, you know it goes equally 7, 7, 7, where there is no will.
Okay.
Now, when there is a will, the law, which respects the custom, tradition, and religion of a deceased person, will look strictly into the provision of the custom and tradition. If the custom and tradition is repugnant to natural justice, good conscience, and equity, the law will take its course. Once there is a will, the will shows the desire of the deceased person. Now, the deceased person might have a will, and the will states that I am giving all my property to AIT televisions because they are doing a fantastic job.
Nice one.
Because they are doing a fantastic job. I'm giving everything to AIT. And none of my sons will take anything, none of my children will take anything from my property. The law will frown at it.
Interesting.
It will reverse back to the Islamic law that states that at least 10% of his entire assets must go to his family and offspring.
Even if it's not in that will.
Even if it's not in the will. So any aggrieved party, the children, can contest it in court. And trust me, they will succeed. We have plenty of cases that has emanated. Now, I will also narrow it down to the customary aspect. I'm from Edo State. In Edo, there's what we call Igiogbe. It means the right of the first son. The house the father lives and dies in automatically becomes the right of the first son. Okay, there's a very big question relating this issue now to Obi Kubana.
To the law itself.
Okay, to the law. I'll show you now. Now, if the will is stating that this house that I'm staying, that I live and died in, should go to John, and John happens to be the second son, and Francis is the first child, by birth. The moment Francis performs the right, burial right of the father as a first son, the property becomes the ancestral home of the family. And at that point in time, Francis is entitled, he might not be entitled to every other property.
But that house.
That house. You know, let me deviate a little. I always tell my colleagues and others, including my foreign clients, that civilization begins in Africa. We started it. Whatsoever they brought was an idolatration. And it killed whatsoever we had. Let me come back to the main gist. Now, if that property, which is the right of the first son in the Edo custom and tradition, is not given to Francis, Francis has a right to contest. And he will be given access to that property. So you see, when a man dies with a will and the will states that everything goes, the custom and tradition must be looked into
Before or the separation of property.
before the property can go round.
So you're saying if there's an unknown first son from the outside
still has a
and he
right.
shows up after the man
Okay.
dies, he has a right
Provided he can prove his roots to the father. Once that is proven, and he performs, like in Edo State, he performs the burial rite of the father, is entitled to the Igiogbe, which is the house the father lived and died in.
So at the end of the day, basically, all this frenzy on social media and everything, it still has to do with culture. It's not just next of kin like what we were seeing online, because everybody was in an uproar. Next of kin, he insulted his son, he's not the biological son. So at the end of the day, it still comes down to law and culture,
And culture.
that will solve it.
Now, you see that scenario. You know, my country is a very beautiful country, Nigeria.
Yes, it is.
We know how to blow things out of proportion. We can make a little drop of water look like an ocean. If that boy comes out and say, my shoulders, how did he make that statement? My shoulders are clear.
He said his shoulders are high because he knows
realizes
next of kin. He knows
He realized he's not the next of kin. He didn't say it's the next of kin to be Cubana.
Yes.
He has a parent before he died. He had his parents died, yeah, and he was adopted. What if
he was referring
he
to
has
that.
discovered?
Yes.
Do you get it?
Also, one thing I grabbed from your talk is that you can have multiple next of kin.
You can,
That
man.
is
So it doesn't
a
have to be
beautiful
one
place to be.
person.
Yes,
You know? So
and
I
that
hope
is-
we're hearing it.
that's the one
All
thing.
the children can be next of kin.
Yes, we need to understand that.
I was handling
the
a matter.
best place.
I was handling a matter. And there's still another one that came from the US. For client confidentiality, I won't mention details. I'll just play the scenario. Where the man died, a lady claimed she had a child for the man. And they've been telling the lady, come and do DNA. Let's say that this child truly belongs to my father. And the lady has been running up and down.
You see, simply put, there's a problem
All
there.
right.
Thank you
understand?
so much, Barrister,
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
for having you on the show, for clarifying that for us, really what it means to be next of kin and how it works here in Nigeria. So good to have you this morning.
Same here. It's an honor,
Thank
man.
you so much. We hope
Thank
to
you.
see more of you on subsequent episodes to have more interesting conversations like this. We don't really feel like letting you go, but because of time, we have to move to other segments.
Thank you so much. Thank
Well,
you.
there you have it. That's it for the lifestyle segment on the weekend show. But stay tuned. We have politics coming right up after the short break. I'm Tende Chimelu.
And I'm Aisha B.
Stay tuned.